This time of year, electronics are absolutely vital for finding fish. And now most of the time you'll find crappies, bluegills, etc. They're related to the weed line for the most part. But what we found here is it's not only weed lines, it can be bottom composition. So these fish are feeding on bugs almost exclusively. So we've got a big mud basin out here, and it goes from mud to sand, and on that transition there are just panfish all over the place. So it's not a typical spot you'd probably be looking for. Most people would focus on the weed line, but look at those transition changes as well, because they can be hot spots for finding big concentrations of fish. Now look at that, that's a huge pile of fish that's pretty close to that waypoint. Look at it, see this? As soon as we get to the edge here, boom, absolutely loaded with fish. And see what they're relating to? I'm just gonna pause it here. This is the kind of stuff that you're looking for. This right here, do you see how it's kind of this bright white signature here, and then it gets to a little bit of a darker color here? Basically that is that line, and that's what the fish are relating to. See, they're these little specks right through here, right here, right here, right there. Those are all crappies. Now, there's even one that's shown up there, but they're very, very close to the edge of that. So it's much like fishing a weed line. When you're fishing these bottom changes, you're just kind of holding back, and you're fishing the edge of that. So there's not cover there. It's not the traditional thinking of panfish that they're in weeds and they're right off the edge of the weeds. It's bottom composition changes. Now that's not to say that crappies and bluegills don't use weed lines a ton in the summer, but this is an area that most people very seldom look at, and it produces tons of fish. And these areas will produce starting in pretty much July, and this will go all the way into the winter time.
These fish, they're just roaming around out here on this thing. They're like, oop, there's fish on the electronics right there, like this. Bloop.
Ooh, got him. Oh, he cracked it way out there, dang it.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go.
How do you like that? It's a good thing we know how to count.
Yeah, exactly.
Another tank?
No, just
still, whatever. This is
neater.
As fast as we can get it down, man.
Yep. Yeah, that was at about a 10 count, but those fish are generally coming up. It seems like they're coming up for it.
For sure. There we go. And the other thing too is the boat is only, this is almost a 19-foot boat, but right now, well, actually now they're starting to show up on the front here, but the difference between the front and the back of the boat can be a big deal if you are in a vertical bite like that. So you want to get your baits under the transducer. So I see them right up here right now. Let's see if I can get one of these fish. So I know they're 10 feet. This is a 7-foot rod. So I'll just basically, all I'm going to do is I'm going to let out 7 feet rod length, and then I'll just give it another foot or so. We'll see if I can get one of these bad boys to go. So a lot of people think crappies are, pretty subtle fish where you just got to have something right in front of their face, real tantalizing. It can't be moving fast, but I've seen in a lot of cases where, bass fishing in particular, we're catching crappies on bass baits. They're willing to bite big baits, especially now in late summer like this. They're aggressive. These fish are eating, and they're willing to hit big baits that are moving. You're not fishing really fast, but you can fish way more aggressive. You don't need to come out here with a slip bobber and a minnow and wait for the bait to get to the bottom. You can just cast and wind with different presentations. A slab wrap in this case, a rip and wrap is another great tool. Of course, a jig with like an underspin or any type of soft plastic will do the job as well.